Thursday's edition of Trading Buddies. Good to have your company, as always. Thanks for joining. I've got to admit, first thing I need to do is apologise to those of you who normally tune into my show in the mornings as a TTR, and also the replay of that on Trading Buddies, what's it called? Telegram group. Because I just couldn't get to it today, guys. I've just had an incredibly busy day in my business, and it's only just finished in the last little bit. So I've had absolutely no chance to look at charts today in any way, shape or form. And I'm relying on you guys to give me some hints, actually. Hi, John. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think I've got things completely stuffed up this week, actually. I thought we had 3 central bank announcements. But when I had a look at Forex Factory just now, nothing, only the RBA. Am I going mad? Was I looking at the wrong week? What's happening next week? No, I must have been looking at the wrong month or something. Or they've just decided not to. I don't know. I'm all at sea, guys. As I say, I won't be taking any trades based on that particular scenario until I have a decent look around and see what's going on, and maybe heard a little bit of what Ash has got to say as well, in particular what has happened overnight in the wonderful world of announcements and numbers and fundamentals and all sorts of things like that that may influence a decision. Let's have a look at the pound today. Again, no range that I can see. We have now entered a bit, albeit short-term, downtrend. And I've got nowhere to go here unless I was to play the breakout of today's range, and we've decided that's not the case. We need to trade the breakout of the 2-day range. And that's just not, there is no range there for me. Yes, there's 2 equal highs and there's 2 equal lows, but ooh, really? Not for me. So based on that, we won't be trading the pound US dollar breakout trade today either. From Paul P, g'day mate. Great Thursday to you as well. Look, quiet days can explode. As I said, you may not have been in the room when I did say it. I've got no idea what's going on in the market right now because I've not been in front of the chart since basically this time yesterday. I do know that we are still in the pound Kiwi trade, and that's potentially going short. I do know that our Aussie Kiwi didn't trigger. Half pie thought about keeping that on because nothing's really changed. All we've done is oscillate over and under the daily pivot, really, of both yesterday and today. And kind of when it goes sideways like that, it's probably telling you all you need to know, to be honest. This will change, of course, but when, how, why? Yeah, that, of course, is the big question that we must ask. I do like the rangy appearance of it, but yeah, it's not clear. It's not crystal clear. What is clear is that we have still got a sequence of higher highs and higher lows, and we've got that bounce off the monthly pivot. But as I said on Tuesday, because we weren't here on Monday, I felt that this would be a bit of a pocket that we might stay in for a while, where we've got the weekly pivot and the monthly pivot, and of course the daily pivot there as well. That appears to be playing out, but that of course can change. I don't know how or when. That's the only thing. And again, as I said on Tuesday, this really is a technical dilemma, because on this chart, the daily chart, you've got a double top or a tweezer top and a lower high that I do like to trade, those bars, but yeah, I'm just not convinced it's the right time. So there we go. We do have a quiz today, and Ash and I put together a few questions. Pretty much all of them are financial related, or more so it's more so a have you been paying attention thing, I think. We'll run it today and see how it goes. We debated whether we should put a prize on or not, and we'll see how it goes, and then we might dip into the prize cupboard, which hasn't been created yet. But when we do that, we'll certainly let you know. Ainsley, yes, that's right. Ainsley apologised. That was in the show yesterday. What else have we got going on? I think I might just look around the charts, and if you guys are seeing anything, please let me know. You're not seeing my chart. That would probably be because I haven't shared it, Sweet, and I do apologise for that. G'day, Lewis. How you doing, bud? So, yeah, let's have a look around the place and see what we can find. We mentioned pound Kiwi. Look, this is just clear to me. We have to stay in the short until we get to here, and then we get out of the short and look to add to our long position that we've been in for, 5 weeks or something. So, yeah, that looks all good to me. If we were to break down here, might have to reassess a little bit, but I don't think that's going to happen. Aussie Kiwi we just spoke about. Now I'm going to make a decision on this on a smaller time frame, probably. As I said, I can make a case either way. I've got this beautiful candle pattern here that I like. It's a double cross of the weekly pivot. So that's leading me to, well, it's tantalizing to actually put a long above that. But I just can't convince myself that that's the case. And I can do the same with the Aussie. You know, the Aussies had a dreadful day yesterday, or a pretty bad week since the RBA statement. That I thought was indeed not as the market has deemed it to be. Or was it just that the Aussie is coming off anyway and they did nothing to support it? Good question. Don't know. But what I do believe is that this chart pattern is pretty clear. And it is, well, when I say it's pretty clear, it's clear that we've got a case for the short, in that we've got the tweezer top and the lower high at a bad level. And the case for the long is that we've broken this range, come back and retested it, and found a strong support level in the week, in the monthly pivot at that confluence area. That's the case for the long. And I think the market's probably telling you that it's kind of in that dilemma as well. I don't know whether that's from a technical viewpoint or the fundamentals are saying the same, but when they come together, it's pretty clear. And with the pivots as close as they are, it's very, very difficult to find a way out here. I think what I'd need to see is a break of some kind. So get out of this consolidation area, or I could use my trade lines. And that, of course, is what I'm apt to do. Good God, what's going on here? Oh, I've got the ray on, that's why. So I could use my trade lines as the key, and that, of course, is the way we work here. So I've got a couple of decent ones. I've got that one there. If you were cheeky, you could place a little long above that. How cheeky am I? It's the wrong time of day. I don't trade the London Open, so it may work on an hourly. You get your stop under there, 14 pips. You've got no take profit up your sleeve. That's the problem. I'll get rid of that for now. That doesn't exist anymore. So what's the best case scenario? Well, to find a false break in either direction. That's about all I've got on Aussie Kiwi at the moment. I was keen earlier in the week, but my keenness has waned somewhat. Pound Swissy, was this on my watch list or did we add it? It wasn't on my watch list. Interesting. I think I just added it because it was nicely ranging. And that's of course now changed a little bit, or has it? We could extend that range probably down and pick up these lows, which are probably better than the originals. So what we've got here now is a break of the bottom of the range with two strong selling bars, maybe a retest, maybe a re-entry. That is yet to be answered and will probably dictate exactly what's going to happen next. So if we were to come back above the daily pivot, for instance, and put in a lower high, sorry, a higher low, then that becomes a long. If we can't get above the daily pivot and we find maybe, that's the 4-hour chart, maybe tomorrow, that this bar is pretty much as it is now, it'd be pretty tempting to go short. It'd be very tempting to go short now that that level has broken. If I am in front of the charts in the morning, I hope I will be. I might do a preview, make up for today. So yeah, that'll be interesting tomorrow. Pound Swissy, Euro dollar. Now Euro dollar, as I said before, I'm now going to concentrate heavily on the 30-minute chart with this because that is my old stomping ground. And when you see stuff like this, as happened yesterday, makes it pretty difficult. And the reason it's difficult is because to trade long here is not a great idea, and the effective range of the day is like 40 pips. When you're trying to make 30 pips out of 40 pips, you've got to be an absolute genius, or you've got to be extremely lucky, because you can't hope to enter at the bottom of the range and get out at the top of the range. And that's all that's available, 40 pips. So, you know, if you're making money intraday in that, as I said, you're an absolute genius, because you'd have to get in here, get out here before you got swamped. Tough gig. So today's shaping up the same, yet we don't have the advantage of an untested daily pivot. So the only way you could trade this yesterday, or in my opinion, would have been to wait to trade the short. So wait till it breaks out here, then look to bring it back to the daily pivot. But where's the entry? There's no entry. You've got a trade line there, I suppose. No dominator there. Break and retest maybe, but you know, you've got no room then. It's too late. You've only got 5 or 10 pips available to you. Too hard. Today you haven't got that luxury because the daily pivot has now been tested. And when that's the case, our edge has disappeared for the day. So what we have to then rely on is our analysis, which says bigger picture. What is this? Euro dollar. That we've had this breakout. Bigger picture still, if we go back to here, you guys will remember that we were in a descending channel. We hit the bottom of that channel. I'll go a bit tighter. We hit the bottom of that channel and came straight back off it. The daily chart is far clearer than any of those that I've just shown you. And we speculated on this and said, don't think that this bar here is the be all and end all, because if we get back into here and get a higher low, then we're likely to go up to here. Goodness gracious. It's easy, isn't it? It's so easy. So how come I'm not in that trade? Timing, I guess, just not there at the right time. And it's impossible to think that you're going to be there all the time, especially when you've got a gig that you do during the day, like most of us do, right? So, you know, those things are just, I guess, things and skills that you can work on. I think I said on dollar CAD, I think on Sunday, that I don't place them, but if you had the kahunas to place a limit entry order on dollar CAD, I'll get there in a minute. Actually, I'll show you now. If you had the kahunas to place a limit entry order on that yellow line for a long or a buy, it wouldn't be the worst thing to do. That may well have been the best thing to do. It's unproven at this stage, but it looks like we're getting a bit of a break and retest of that area now, and perhaps a second higher low. We'll see. how that pans out. But you know, these are the things that we should be really taking advantage of when we identify these market structures and they play out to perfection, and we don't make any money out of it. It can be a little bit frustrating. I guess the good thing is we're still seeing it, but the bad thing is we're not making any money out of it. Never mind. We're almost back to the top of that range, which is a confluence area with the horizontal level. So we'll see how that pans out, and hopefully we'll be in front of the charts when the opportunity arises. So that's euro dollar. So I'm still thinking that candle makes it difficult because, you know, we're within QE, if you like, of the top of that range. And maybe it's as far as it wants to go. So there'll be people looking at that candle, looking at the confluence area, the horizontal level, going, okay, downtrend continues from here. And it may well. It may very well. I'll rely on a trend line or a trade line and pivots to tell me whether that is indeed the case. Inverted head and shoulders on the 4-hourly charts. No retest of the neckline. And the neckline, of course, is here. Or my neckline is anyway. So no retest there yet. So there's probably a little bit of magnetism or even gravity set to pull this back down here to some degree. Or, of course, it could play the symmetry game. I love the symmetry game. And the symmetry game would suggest that, as you can see here, that shoulder becomes the right shoulder. So that's matched. We break out of there. We match this area with this area. We match this area. Sorry, we match this area with this area. How much have we got left in us before we get a decent retracement? If it's following the symmetry trail, then the high is probably here somewhere. And it might take another 2 phases to get there. So we really haven't reached that area yet, but we have pulled back off. Interesting. Love to draw those. Symmetry. I love symmetry, especially on reversals. They mean a heck of a lot. And you can do a whole lot worse than follow symmetry once a market does reverse, because it's really a case of it's going to the next horizontal level. It's going to the next high. It's going to the next high, or it's going to the previous low. And, you know, that's where we find ourselves now. I would suggest that we've probably got this high before we look for a deeper retracement. So I'd be okay to go long here. What would I like to see? Well, we've broken the daily pivots. Bad place. I can't jump in here. I'd have to be waiting for a false break of support, which may or may not come there. That's not yet a low. So I'd have to go back under here, back above, retest, and away we go. So that's going to be a little bit of a while to play out. Aussie, which is copped hiding, exactly the same as dollar CAD. Maybe I said this on the Aussie or not the dollar CAD. I can't remember. But I said on Sunday that, you know, if you had the kahunas and you had the system and the method of doing that, and I don't, but I must learn it because this was pretty clear. If it was going down here, it was going to bounce off here and may go well back to here. And we may be here for a long time. I don't know. But we've now got a clear head and shoulders sitting there. If this was to break, that's going to be extremely bullish, and we're going here. I would suggest that's Aussie dollar. And, you know, I'm a fan of that because, like I said earlier, the market has reacted, not overly, but it has reacted poorly to the RBA statement. It's starting to recoil on that now, or retrace on that now. I didn't think the RBA statement was that bad. I didn't think it was bullish or hawkish, but I certainly didn't think it was dovish either. So I think the technicals can still play a part here, and they're not doing what they should be doing. What they should be doing is retest of the neckline. That should have gone further. Didn't even get a close below the range. And now we're still in this range. So when that's not happening, and we've had a second retest of it now, if price gets above here, I reckon we're going. I reckon it's off. and the head and shoulders means jack at that point. But yet to play out, it could still fall. But I'm thinking that it's had 1, 2, 3, 4 chances really to come off that level, and it hasn't done so. So that, again, going back to the, if that's not happening, then perhaps something else is. Something else is today, and it's called, I don't know the name of it, Ash. G'day, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I forgot to think about a name. Did you
Oh,
come up with one?
what for the quiz?
Hmm.
Yeah, I've called it the Trading Buddies quiz.
There you go. Why didn't
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we were
of
going
it?
to call we should have called it Buddy's Brain Time, shouldn't we? So it's got a bit of alliteration.
Well, we thought
Um,
about things like that, but yeah, look, I've just been flat out. Haven't had a chance to even think about it today.
yeah, do you know I even forgot that we'd said that. Now I'm going to bring you a potential trade. It might be a
Okay.
little bit early, but sorry, mate. Have you got something? Have you?
No, I haven't. And I was saying to the guys, I haven't been anywhere near a chart since we logged off yesterday. So
Well, okay. Well, let's have
I'm
a
not
look at
likely
this.
to jump in just now.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll hopefully have an opinion on this one. It is the pound dollar. Oh, good morning, by the way. Good morning, John. And who else have we got here? Good morning, John. Good morning, Lewis. Okay, so it's the pound dollar now. The pound dollar is, and it's for a short. So let's just gather some information on this, and everybody can effectively just see what they prefer to do with it. I don't know why I've got these. That might be better. I really don't like grey charts, but hopefully that still looks okay. So the first thing is that there is this trend line along here, which kind of puts the weekly pivot in a pretty good spot. I don't know whether it's. I'm quite keen to get in here, if I'm honest. I think sort of like scaling into a position, sort of, already at this point would be okay. But we might have a little bit of time. So a short here and then another short here. So half the position and half the position, and the stop just above the trend line. In actual fact, I think the stop above the monthly pivot looks like the sensible play. So let's first of all, let's just see if we've got the room. 50. Oh, we do have the room. 50 to 50. Okay, now let's have a look at some of these other bits and pieces here. Hasn't touched that level yet. Let's have a look at this on the clean. Sorry, I brought up that pivot, that fib, and then I didn't look at it properly. Okay, I can see why it would bounce there. But all we're really looking for is it for potentially to get back down to the lows again. It looks pretty good to me. Let's just have a look on the weekly. Yeah, weekly is coming off a little bit here. Monthly as well, coming off a little bit, and it could come down a little bit further as well. Now, before we do anything, let's just check the dollar, because I don't know if you saw this. This is my slight issue with it, is that I'm actually seeing the euro pop to the upside against the dollar, and I might well be picking same with the Kiwi, but I might well be picking the weakest currency. I actually got into a Kiwi dollar short yesterday, which I took half off and moved stops to break even, and I'm now out of that trade because it didn't keep going. And this is my slight issue, is that the dollar down against the CAD, and I had a good read of some of the Canadian numbers yesterday, and they weren't particularly good. So this is some of the issue, that I think there is a trade pound dollar short, but look at the dollar against just about everything. It's just not really, it's not really performing, which means the pound is probably the weakest, down against the Aussie, slightly up against the CAD. I don't think I can take it, mate. I quite like it for a trade. When it comes down to some of the messages in here, it looks pretty good, but the lack of
I'm trying to
confluence.
find a technical reason why the dollar can rally now, and I can't.
Yeah.
this level.
Well, so let's talk about Biden. Did you watch the speech yesterday at all, mate?
No, mate.
Interesting. He's not the best orator, I have to say.
He
He
stayed awake though.
he stayed awake, but I mean, he slurs a lot. I mean, he's in his 80s, isn't he?
Mm.
I mean, I don't know that many 80-year-olds that could do high-powered jobs. Never mind run the most powerful country in the world. It's
Well,
just
that's the way they like it.
yeah, it's really strange. I mean, I think Trump is a bit of a force of nature. Um,
Yeah,
so maybe it's a bit.
completely different kettle of fish.
He is, yeah. But with Biden, I don't know, and he also, he emphasizes certain things almost quite aggressively. He's really chilled out, and all of a sudden he just goes bah right in your face, and
That's
yeah,
the
it's quite
no-dos kicking in. Yeah.
it's quite off-putting. Yeah. So he's not the best orator, and I don't think he's going to last 4 years, if I'm honest. I think he'll probably have to retire before that, because I think the energy it'll just come out of him. We've seen how much it ages people to be the leader of the country over the course of their period, and I don't think Joe Biden is probably fit enough to do it. And he's 80. I'm sure for an 80-year-old he's very fit, but I don't think he's fit enough to do this particular job.
Yeah, I think
But
we might be seeing another Ronnie Reagan.
yeah, I can't remember what did he have to retire? Did he early?
Oh, you're a bit too young to remember all right.
Oh no,
It,
I do remember Ronald Reagan, because I remember Thatcher and Reagan. They had that relationship, didn't they?
well, he was senile, he was
Right.
he was in a bad state, and they just kept putting him up there, similar to Biden, I suppose. He's got a hand up his back, and people are just going say this, say
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
he just couldn't remember anything. I
Right.
mean, George W. Bush Jr. Wasn't too far behind him, but Ronnie Reagan, that was classic, man. There's some incredible videos
Right.
available on
Yeah.
his little faux pas.
Well, it might be the same, for Biden. I just don't think I don't think he's going to last. But anyway, his whole speech was all about infrastructure. I think the threat from China is they're probably too late. They're probably too late on the threat from China, and I think they're all very much aware of it. That they're just they're getting overtaken, and there's literally nothing that they're going to be able to do about it. So I thought it was quite interesting that he's kind of trying to go after it. So he's talking about infrastructure and spending on infrastructure. Jerome Powell left rates unchanged, and really, what we've got going on right now is just very, very supportive of growth in the United States. So what you're saying about not seeing a technical reason to support the dollar, it's kind of hard to find a fundamental reason as well. Biden isn't
Mm.
raising rates. Yes, they're spending. So that's one sort of aspect of it. They are kind of spending the money that they've been given, I guess. But it's still kind of like, it's still in the balance. It's still very much in the balance. So I'm not really
Well,
sure
it was
what's.
a bit of a wimpish rally, really, wasn't it? Not that we expected
Yeah,
anything much more than that, but I'm not sure it's over. We're still getting higher highs and lows, of course, on the daily chart, but
yeah.
I can't see a reason why it bounces from here right now.
No, I think the most telling chart that I've found, I had a good look around earlier on, and it looked pretty quiet to me. I didn't see any setups that I particularly like. But the one that I think is quite interesting is Bitcoin. And the reason I think Bitcoin is interesting is that it looks to me like it may well have started it's broken out of this I think fairly important level for volatility. Last time we kind of broke out of a level, we did have a decent move to the downside. Yes, they will, John. That's exact. Well, yeah, it is down to building. Yeah, he's very, very, very much interested in roads and infrastructure. It's all about infrastructure, whether that be technological or building infrastructure. So that is the plan. That is the plan from the United States for sure. That's Joe Biden's plan, but he's still got to get it through the House as well, and he hasn't quite been backed up just yet. But it's more a question of how he proposes to pay for it than anything else. So I'm tired today. So here we go. Anyway, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin obviously kind of like reaching these crazy elevated levels up here on very little foundation, and that's the monthly chart. So almost even more crazy. And here's the daily. You'd think at least a push back down to the trend line is on of some you should have sound, Gary. Jeff, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, mate. Yep.
Gary, can you hear Jeff? Obviously, you won't answer if you can't hear us. Okay, thanks, John. Okay, so I'm looking for a bit of a drop anyway. I'm looking for a bit of a drop in Bitcoin, and I'm desperate, if I'm honest, mate. I'm desperate to get this this trade on this share, but it just hasn't given me the opportunity as yet, so I can't really do too much about that.
You're not in at all?
I'm not in at all. Right, no, okay. I'm not in at all, and it's probably a good 15% higher than I want to be. And when I see Bitcoin with a potential of coming down, then it cheers me up a bit, because I might have the chance to get into it. But aside from that, I don't really see an opportunity. I mean, you could try and short Bitcoin, but I think that would be a very brave man that tried to do that, or woman that tried to do that. Same with Ethereum. It has broken through this level on the 4-hour chart as well. So it looks like Ethereum might also be coming to the, moving to the downside with any luck. XRP has been the story really of the year. Massive move to the upside. If we look at this on the weekly, this is really the start of the year here, and we are up probably a good 50%. Sorry, what am I talking about? Yeah, I reckon about almost 50%, 40-50% on XRP for the year. So yeah, I don't know if I'm not sure I would short Bitcoin, but I'm hoping it does come down a bit, and it definitely could, John. When you look at the technical aspect of this, it is a little bit tepid up here, and it's been it's struggled to get through that 60,000 level. Now I don't know what drives fundamentally, the times of year. I'm not quite as proficient as Shukri when it comes down to it. I do watch this stuff, but I don't have the time to watch everything. I don't think you have Bitcoin in your account, no. But no, you probably don't. You probably don't have Bitcoin on your account. And to be honest, I wouldn't take this with at a current value of 57,000, because you're gonna have to kind of like use a bit of leverage on that one, and you'd kind of want to get in and out pretty quickly, and it's a bit too volatile. So it's not something that I think is really tradable on MT4 anyway. I wouldn't suggest doing it, but I don't think you do have it. I'm just watching the price because I want Bitcoin down here so I can buy some shares in Bitcoin related stock.
Mate, I've got to duck off for 2 seconds.
Yeah, you go for it. So that's why I'm watching the chart. But anyway, Bitcoin a little bit weak. Now, I thought maybe we might start to see some strength from the dollar, and that's why we were getting a bit of Bitcoin being a bit weak, but I'm not seeing really anything to do with that. And the dollar index, look at the dollar index also moving to the downside. So there seems to be a correlation between really nothing and Bitcoin right now, because maybe the NASDAQ, okay, we've seen the NASDAQ pop to the upside, but it's weaker than the others. But I don't really see a correlation between Bitcoin and anything at the minute. It seems to have decoupled from most things. And the only reason I would have thought the NASDAQ is because the tech story is not quite as bullish going into the start of the year as has been value stocks. But those value stocks are weakening a little bit now. FTSE 100 continues to pump to the upside, which is, you know, kind of good news for some holdings that I've got, but obviously we're not trading this at the minute. The VIX is the interesting one, just collapsing, and we've got to look at this and remind ourselves every single day, in my opinion, that the VIX is the fear indicator, and people are, when they get particularly overconfident, this thing can shift in the opposite direction pretty fast, and people are very, very comfortable. You know, this is what the VIX is telling us, that people are not worried about getting out, you know, getting taken out of positions and market volatility kind of coming back at all. That they're quite happy with the rhetoric from Joe Biden and the like right now, and so far it would appear that Joe Biden is going to be hugely different to Trump. A much calmer period is probably ahead of us, where people are probably going to get the opportunity to buy stocks and just hold on to them and see what happens, rather than having to worry too much about market volatility. So it may be that people are coming out of Bitcoin and going into slightly safer assets because, you know, that they're there, and I you know, I just want that to be the case. I just want people to come out of Bitcoin just for a little while. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Gold, it certainly looks like it's bottomed here for a period. Now I don't know if this promotes any major upside, but when we look at this on the weekly, then we do have a fairly strong horizontal level here, and now look at last week's bar as well. So last week's bar is looking like a hammer. It didn't quite get to the low here, so it wouldn't completely qualify, but it does look like, you know, people have managed to hammer out the low here, and we might start to move a bit higher. I'm not going to add to a position here with gold because I'm not fully invested, but I'm still not convinced. So you know, I'm gonna wait and see what happens with gold, and if it goes higher from here, then fine. I'll just have to accept that I didn't get my full quota in. But really, I want to get the next quota down at 1550, as I said for a while, somewhere around about there. Look at the consolidation before the big up. You talking about here, Lewis? This consolidation here? Higher than that here. Yeah. In what way? Look at this, buddy. And I do welcome you all to come on mic if you want to. Anybody that wants to come on mic and have a chat about anything, then just pop your mic open or send us a message, and we'll open your mic up for you.
I think what Lewis is saying is we've been in this area before, and maybe we're going to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
The question I would have is, okay, we were then in an uptrend and we broke to the upside.
Yes.
But now in a downtrend, are we going to break to the downside?
Yes. Very, very interesting, mate. Yeah, but this is one of the reasons I don't think I can add to a position, and I won't be adding to a position. I'm just going to leave things as they are with gold right now.
Where's your level? Because I could get interested. I'm going to break my duck with gold.
Yeah.
If there's a higher low.
If there's a high low, so you'd be quite happy to if we get a higher so breakthrough and then back to retest, and then you'd be quite happy to get in at this area, but on a retest.
Yeah, it doesn't really even have to break through. What chart's that? Weekly, is it?
This is a weekly, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to daily, it's clearer that you've got a double bottom. There's a double bottom there, obviously.
Yes.
So maybe at the spike, the low of the hammer, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles from the left low. The left low.
This one here?
Go up 4 candles.
This one here?
Yep. Maybe but the low of that one, not the high.
The low of it. Yeah.
That would be a nice spot. You're a bit lower than that, are you? That's where you want to be.
Oh God, mate. I mean, I'm already in gold. I've already got positions in gold. But if I'm going to get back in again, it's going to be down here.
Oh, right down there. Okay.
Yeah. Lewis, sorry, buddy. I can hear you in the room.
that would go with Lewis's theory of if that consolidates and breaks the low side, then that's probably where it's going to go.
Is that the point you're making, Lewis, that it could break down? Oh, he's gone again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Was that what you're thinking, that the consolidation and go down?
Yeah, I'm just anticipating that, you know, because there's a big consolidation, like maybe, you know, 8 or 9 weeks before it actually move the big move up. So when it comes down, I feel that, you know, it kind of it could consolidate here for a little while more, and then downward move to maybe, you know, the 1600 level before we see anything significant.
Yeah. So you're thinking consolidation and a move lower. I mean, at this stage, there's nothing suggesting that we're going higher, apart from that, you know, the double bottom is there, so we know that there's buyers in this area. But are there enough buyers to actually push it through and start a new trend up?
Correct. Because it kind of like rejected that area, this current price level for like, you know, 1, 2, 3 times over the last couple of days. So, you know, I don't feel that there's enough buying power to actually push it up further.
Yeah. I think you could be right, mate. I mean, you know, it's not exploding on whatever announcements have been made so far. We've had, you know, another round of Joe Biden and another round of Jerome Powell, and I think people are just waiting for Jerome Powell to say something that might actually drive gold to the upside. But it just hasn't happened. I mean, there's obviously accumulation going on down here, but I wonder whether there might be a similar approach to what I'm having, where people are just buying a bit here, and then if it drops, they're quite happy to buy again, with the chance that it could go up. Jaira, good morning, buddy. Yeah, thanks, Lewis. I think you're right, mate. I think we got to wait and see if it breaks through this level with some gusto and some confidence. Then I think we might have a different picture to talk about. But until it does, I'm with you. I think that this area may well consolidate and push down further, and I'll be okay with that.
Even if it breaks, right, it could happen to be a false break, you know, and then it will come back within 1 candles or 2 candles, and then that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And the you know, the way that you would obviously trade it as a break and a retest is the same way that you would trade every trend. Breaking down and retesting. You know, you'd have to see your particular setup happen, because you're absolutely right. Messages can be very skewed. Jeff might be able to kind of come in and give us a completely different perspective if he sees it looking more like a false break. So I think after this is what is important. We've got to make sure it breaks through. If it's going to happen, breaks through, and when it comes back, or if it comes back, then we can start making a judgment call. Is the setup the kind of setup that we want to see on a breakout? And if it's not, then we'll just leave it be. Are you still in the short on this, mate?
I have short. I have long in there too. You know, I have long way back below 1690.
Okay.
I'm thinking what to do with my short.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends where you got in, but I mean, you know,
short at 1836.
Oh, beautiful point, mate. I mean,
but just a very small tiny little lot size. Taken 2 times of profits already, so yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. Well, I would leave the rest personally. I mean, until you get this one safe, until you get the 1690 safe, which I would only do if it broke through. Then I'd be looking to close the short position, because at least then you've got a completely free trade, and then you can take some profit. But if it's hedging out some of the risk of that long right now, it might be worth keeping.
Anyway, I'm just following your theories, you know, the other day that you have spoken about, and I just put the stop loss the stop loss on the entry level at my 1690. And then see how it goes.
I know, it's great though, isn't it, mate? I mean, you know, it's a really good method, because it means that you can get a really cheap price without having to look for a setup. You're just buying low.
Correct.
Yeah. So I really like that. Well done, mate. That's brilliant. Gyra, how you doing, buddy? Jeff, dollar Sing looks potential for a long at the H4. I tell you what, I mean, Gyra's almost become your researcher, Jeff.
Well, I asked for that at the beginning of the show. I don't think Shira was in the room at the time, but
Yeah.
I had no time to get in front of the charts at all since yesterday, as I said, and that's exactly what I wanted. Thanks, Jira. And I did have a quick look at this earlier. I'll give you my opinion. If you're right, Ash, I'll go there now.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic, mate. Let's have a look.
All right, cool. So, look, I'm almost at the point of placing an order, Gyra, and I'm not sure if that's what you're seeing. The only thing that really concerns me is that it really hasn't given us the higher low yet. It's just given us little bit, hit the daily pivot, the monthly pivot, and the daily pivot, and bounced off it. Now, that there is a bar that we'd like to trade, right? Now, maybe, just maybe, if we go down to the hourly chart, we get a better idea of where this can be traded, because the 4 hourly isn't giving us a really decent reward to risk. We've got a high test, low test combo here, which I don't like. We do have a shot over the bow here. We have another shot over the bow here. So we've got high test bar, high test bar, high test bar. So the potential entry there is good. But where do you put your stop loss is the question. Where do you put your stop loss? I think it's risky, but not untradeable. This bar here is also interesting. I've got no idea what that was. Dollar Sing yesterday. Was there an announcement yesterday? Let me have a look. At that time, probably not. Wednesday, Biden spoke at 6:04. No, that's way later. Crude oil inventories. I don't know why that would react like that at that time. That's about nowish, a bit later than now. So I don't know why. I do like it. I like the fact that we've, yes, come back into the range. We've had a little bit of a play with the monthly pivot, yet it hasn't driven price back to the lows. So I do think the next move is up. I agree with that. Where, how do we do it? When I'm in this sort of quandary, I go, FOMO, delete FOMO. Get that out of your head and go back to basics. And basics for me is going to be probably the 30-minute chart that gives me something to trade off, and also would provide me with a higher low. Now, it may not happen, but if I continue to follow that process forever and a day, I'm going to eliminate a lot of bad trades. And that's kind of where I'm at. But the 30-minute chart is really tempting, I've got to say. You could trade the high here and you could put your stop here, but take profit. Have you got enough room? Let me see. 15 to 5. So tight.
I've just done exactly the same thing with the pound, mate. You know, it's whether it's a fear of missing out thing or not. All right, Lewis. Thanks, buddy.
So, mate, I think, going back to basics and going back to the system that I use all the time. Wait for this. Then get in. You can either get in there or you can get in there, and then you've got room to take profit before this level here. If that doesn't happen and you get that, then I think you've again got a better position, or a far more assured position than you would have by trading the breakout, because the breakout is going to lead you to here. And what's going to give it the momentum to get through there? I've got no idea. Is there volume in the market? Is there liquidity in the market? Is there a news event that's going to drive it through there? I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm totally on board with you as far as direction's concerned. And yes, I'm looking at it. But really, I just can't find the kahunas to trade that bar right now. And we may well miss it if we don't. It's true. But that's the way the Bicky breaks.
That is. Now, Lewis is going to miss the quiz. Is it quiz time, Jeff?
Hang on. I think it is.
It's quiz time. All right. So now this is for the prize of being the King of the Week. And if you are King of the Week 4 weeks in a row, then you or Queen of the Week. I'm not sure who's in the room. Have we got any ladies in the room? We don't have any ladies. Oh, we do have with Sweet. Okay. Any others?
How about Monarch? Monarch of the Week.
Monarch of the Week. I like that. And Angel's in the room. Angel, you can also take part in this. Okay.
But has Angel been paying attention?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Well, this is where we'll test you out, Angel. Angel of the Week. Well, let's see. So what we are going to do is now we've got 11 questions. One of your questions, Jeff, was a bit of a dud. I don't know what happened with it. Yeah. Yes, I'm not sure. Not sure where you got the information from.
What do you mean it was wrong? The answer was wrong.
Yeah, it was. I'll
piffle. What was that?
I'll come to it at the end. I'll come to it at the end, just in case I'm wrong, which is possible. Oh no, what's happened to my my text? Oh no, I'm going to call it Buddy's Brain Time.
Haven't we got doesn't Zoom have a quiz section where you can run a quiz?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Not sure about that. Here we go.
Use poll, yeah, maybe.
We might need Angel for that. Okay, here we go. So it's the Buddy's Brain Time, and we're going to do this once a week. Not sure what day it's on, but it's quiet today. So there's going to be 11 questions. Pop your questions, your answers straight in the box. There are going to be deductions for late replies because you can go and look up the answer on some occasions. So
do I have to write this down? Keep score.
Yeah, that would be good, mate. You keep score answering the questions. So I'm going to give you a minute. Is a minute too long per question?
I'll need nine minutes to work it out.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, right, John, do you think, per question? I wish, 30 seconds per question. Okay, but 30 seconds per question, then we're going to move on. Now, I wish we had a theme tune. So maybe you just sing us a little melody, Jeff.
Oh, we're going to have a good day today.
Something to do with Buddy's Brain Time would have been good. But okay, we'll go with this. Okay, so here we go. Question number one.
Yeah, remind me about this tune later on because it was a bit contentious.
Okay, here we go. Question number one coming up. So question one was, what was the cryptocurrency that Shukri mentioned regarding the Chinese as a rival to Bitcoin? What was the cryptocurrency that Shukri mentioned regarding the Chinese as a rival to Bitcoin? Well done. The problem is, of course, don't know. That's fine, John. That's all right. That's okay. Here's question two. Question two. Jeff is in a long and a short on the same currency pair this week, but which one is it? Which one is it? There you go. John's got an answer there. Swee's got an answer. Gary's got a different answer. Hanan's got a different answer. Paul's got a different answer. Here we go. Right, you keeping scores, Jeff? You down?
I can't keep up with that. Hang on a minute.
That was meant to be question two. What's happened to question two? There's question one. Question three. Oh, well. Question four. Question three, but let's call it question four because I'll get confused. What was the name of the gold trader that I mentioned, I think yesterday, who presents the history of money on YouTube? You're back, Lewis. Okay. You're starting at question kind of three. I'll run for question one and two just for you in a minute. Here we go. Paul's got an answer, full answer. John's got a funny surname. There we go. All right, I'm going to move on. Gary, what is that? Not sure what the how you pronounce that surname. Okay, here we go. Question number 4. Jeff entered a trade on January the 14th against the euro. Which currency was it against? Which currency was it against? Jeff entered a trade against the euro, and which currency was it against?
Still alive.
And it's still alive, which is why it's there. You can't answer twice, Lewis. Which one are you going with there? Okay, question 6. Though it is 5. Which guest missed the show this week because of daylight saving? Which guest missed the show this week because of daylight saving? Okay. Here's question number 7. Don't worry about the spelling. Unless it's something. The RBA left rates on hold this week as well. What is Australia's current interest rate? The RBA left rates on hold. What is the current interest rate in Australia? Okay. Don't have a load there. Here we go. Next one. Next question is, which financial organization produced the World Economic Outlook this week? Which financial organization produced the World Economic Outlook this week? What's the same answers on that one? Okay, we've got a couple more here. Couple more. This could separate someone from the pack here. Which comic book superhero became the most valuable in history this week?
You'll have to tell me the answer to this one.
Yeah, well, I know. I was having a look around for some more questions yesterday after you gave me a dud, so I had to go and find something.
What's this dud?
Which comic book superhero became the most valuable in history this week?
Got it, Lewis. That's next week. That would be a great suit, actually. Oro Man. Okay. And I think this might be the last question. Is it? If it's not the last question, there's It's only
only
number
more.
9.
In fact, there's 2 more. There's 2 more. 2 more. Here we go. In fact, it's 3 more. Joe Biden promoted his infrastructure plan on Wednesday, which is yesterday. But how much was it for? How much did Joe Biden? How much was Joe Biden's infrastructure plan? And what was it for?
I've got no idea he's right here because I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a point. All right, I'll come with you in a minute. Oh yeah, you better. You do need to know this. Okay. I'm just gonna message you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Tiger Woods had a near fatal accident in his car. How fast was it said that he was driving? How fast? Pretty fast. Okay, now this is the last question.
260. Holy crap. No wonder he's got some broken legs.
Right, final question. Final question is, who was the singer of the song that Jeff has been singing this week? And for a bonus point, what is the name of the song? So who was the singer of the song that Jeff has been singing this week? And for a bonus point, what is the name of the song? So you must know the answer to that one, Jeff.
Yeah.
No, Hanan's definitely been listening to you sing. He sings a lot of songs. He does sing a lot of songs. I think there was one specific one. You have to make sure you only sing one song a week, Jeff, from here on in. We won't ask we won't have this song. The song question every week. Actually, we can do, but we just won't talk about that. Okay, that is the end of the quiz. So we're going to go through the answers. No problem. We're going to go through the answers and see what everybody's got. Tally up your own scores. Jeff has been in the background tallying up, so there won't be any cheating. Oh, this is meant to be quick. Oh, that's why question 2 got moved. I thought we'd end with the fun one. That's why it's got there. So the first one was, what was the cryptocurrency that Shukri mentioned regarding the Chinese as a rival to Bitcoin? Many of you did get this right. What's the answer, Jeff?
What was the question? Cryptocurrency Shukri mentioned. It was file something. I don't know what the exact thing was, but it was file.
I think a file, yeah. I think it was file coin.
So Sui, Hanan, and Gary all got that right.
Fantastic. Okay. Second question was, Jeff is a long and a short in the same currency pair this week, and which one was it? And the answer, Jeff?
Pound Kiwi.
Pound Kiwi. Oh, I even got that one wrong. I thought it was the pound Aussie.
Yeah, we've been long for about 5 or 6 weeks, and we got into the short on Tuesday, I think.
Okay.
And we're still in both.
What was the name of the gold trader who presents the history of money on YouTube? The guy's name was Mike Maloney. I think it was one person got the surname right.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Maloney. You knew that, did you, mate?
I knew it started with M.
Jeff entered a trade on January the 14th against the euro. What was the currency? What was the currency? What was the currency, Jeff?
Oh, sorry, mate. That was a question. What was the question?
What was the trade that you entered on the 14th against the euro? The currency.
EuroCAD.
EuroCAD. Anybody get that right?
Still in that one as well.
And who got that right?
Lewis was the only one who got that right.
Oh, okay. Which guest missed the show this week because of daylight saving? I think everybody got that one right, didn't they?
Yes, everyone got that right.
That was Ainsley, of course. RBA left rates on hold this week. And what's Australia's current interest rate? What you got?
0.1.
0.1. Now, there was a few. I didn't see that many right answers in there with that.
Yeah, there were a couple. Swee and Lewis both got it right.
Well done, guys. Oof. Is it close? I don't know. How's the leaderboard looking? Who's at the top of the tree at the minute?
Oh, now you're asking me something. I'm not a bloody computer. I know who's won, but I can't tell you. Tell you the score currently.
Okay. All right. We'll have to tidy this up. Which financial organization produced the World Economic Outlook this week? And of course, that was Jeff.
What's the question? That was the IMF.
We'll never make TV.
I've been there, done that. And it was just as catastrophic.
So which comic book superhero became the most valuable in history this week? What have we got, mate?
Oh,
Which one was it?
Well, Super's got to be Superman, isn't it?
It is. It is Superman. Yeah, it is Superman. I think it sold for. Let me see if I can find the story. Astonishing. I think it was yesterday. Somebody bought it like 3 years ago or something, and I'm not sure what they bought it for, but they're going to pocket a cool £1 million in profit. So I think it sold for something like $3 million or something. But I'll have to see if I can find the number. I don't suppose it matters. You guys go and have a look at it. But it sold for a few million, and the guy has pocketed himself $1 million. And apparently he's only been in the kind of comic book space for about 3 years or something. So I think he's done pretty well. Joe Biden promoted his infrastructure plan on Wednesday, but how much was it for? And that was for $2.2 trillion.
Did anyone get that?
Yeah, I think they did. I think I did see somebody got that right.
I don't think I saw a 2.2. Just checking. Son of a gun.
No, you're right. No, we didn't get that one right. No, that's right. And Tiger Woods had a near fatal accident in his car recently, and he was driving. What was the speed he was driving? And I think it was reported between 84 and 87 miles an hour. So somebody did get that right on the money. John, 83 to 87. Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it? And finally, the big one. Who is the singer of the song that Jeff has been singing this week? And it was, of course, Jeff.
That was Neil Diamond.
And the name of the song?
Can't you tell by the song? Can't you tell by I'm a perfect imitation of Neil Diamond. How can anyone get that wrong? The name of the song that nobody got was not, well, I'm going to have a good day today. Wasn't that one?
Yeah.
That's the song.
That's the lyric.
Name of the song, believe it or not, is Talking Optimist Blues. Now, how could you not get that? That is such a shame.
Yeah. So, who's our winner?
So, Paul P got a couple right. Hanan got 3 right. Gary got 4 right. Lewis got 4 right.
Hold on one second.
Oh.
Yeah, go on.
John got 4 right. 1, 2, 3. Actually, John might have got 5 right, which means that we have equal winners, John and Swee, who both got 5.
Oh, there we go. The monarchs of the week.
Where's the crowd effects? Where's that?
Yeah, that's what I really need, and I need some sort of fireworks. Okay, I'll prepare that for next week. Well done, guys. Well done. So John and Sweet will be taking their crown into next week, and we'll see who's going to win it next week. So we'll do it every week, maybe on Monday or Thursday. I'm not sure.
What a good idea.
Okie dokie.
Let's do that. Am I going to place a trade?
I don't know. Where are we at, mate? Interesting with the pound. You know, we were looking at the pound as a potential trade. Let me just bring that back up on the Fusion so you guys can see it on there. We're looking at the pound as a potential trade, and actually maybe it looks even better now. You know, I was saying this area here, but maybe it looks even better now. What would be quite interesting, I think, is if the pound actually closed on, and I suppose what this is showing is probably more the weakness of the pound than the strength of the dollar. If the pound closed under this level here after testing this this point on the 4-hour, I think there could be some further downside with the pound. So pound trade might shape up in an hour or so, mate.
Hey, what was my dud answer?
Oh yeah, your dud question. Your dud question was.
Let me see if I get it right. Ask the question.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay. The question you asked was, oh gosh, I'm going back too far. Oh, here we go. Australia was one of the 3 central banks that released rate statements this week.
I said that from the start of the show. I must be on drugs or something.
I had a good look around. I was like, I don't remember anybody else having
So
a rate
where was
stable.
I looking? I mean, I was reading that off Forex Factory. It must have been last month or something.
Must have been.
I don't know.
Yeah, it must have
It's
been.
April, right?
Um,
It's 2021, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday,
now I
Thursday the
remember.
8th of April. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I've got no idea where I plucked that from, but it was obviously incorrect.
Yeah, that one wasn't one we could use. But yeah, so we
Can't
could
think
be
why.
looking, but anyway at the we could be looking at the pound dollar as a short possibly, but I think what we're probably seeing is maybe something more indicative of pound weakness, and there may well be a better short to take it against. It's just the setup is quite nice on the pound versus the dollar. Not too
Lewis wants
bad
an
on.
oil impression.
Oh well, yeah. The Canadian news I was reading yesterday really is kind of dependent very much on the oil story. There's a big shortage apparently of semiconductors, which means that the cars and the automotive industry in Canada is really struggling to kind of get cars built, and they think it might continue, which means we should be looking really around for some semiconductor stocks, which I will do later on. Have a little research of that. But the oil story has really helped Canada because their trade surplus had a second month in a row. Last month it was in a trade surplus, but it's more about the lack of imports than the growth in exports. But the one area there was some growth was in oil. So yeah, you need to watch oil, and I think if you're going to be trading the Canadian dollar, then watching oil is going to be quite important. But the way we're expanding, I can't imagine why. Oh man, that pound dollar trade really is on its way. Maybe that was an error not getting into that one. It still wasn't the best setup though, so let's not get too downbeat about it. Oil may be quite similar in some respects to Bitcoin, where we are seeing just some weakness in these areas here. Definitely a head and shoulders pattern has formed there. I just wonder whether it's really going to break down, Lewis. My personal opinion is that the oil probably stays quite buoyant. There was a lack of inventory yesterday reported. Was it minus 3.5? I can't remember what it was now, but I think it was minus 3.5 million in inventory, which is good. It should be bullish for oil. What we need to watch out for is, if the news is good and the numbers are good, does it rally? Because if it doesn't, that would suggest that something might well be hanging over. There might be a little bit of a hangover for oil, but I'm not really looking for a big breakdown. Personally, I'm a buyer around 57.50, something like that. That's what I'd prefer to do. I'd prefer to get to the bottom of the range. I just don't think it's going to come through there. We can definitely see the support here, around about that 57.50 level. So if you're gonna kick on another rally, then it might well be from this point here. Now, what's the trend line suggesting here? It was pretty parabolic, wasn't it? That would suggest we could go a little bit lower. Maybe down to 53. This whole area looks like a buy zone to me, Lewis, and I suppose it's one of those things that you kind of want to you'd probably want to buy in gently at this level, with some further positions here. If you have the stomach and the wherewithal to take this on a long-term basis, then that would be the first way that you could possibly trade it. COT data doesn't suggest upside. Seasonality, I think, is bullish at the minute. I'll have to double check that, but COT data is not particularly strong or weak. Data is okay. The patterns are okay. Yes, it's a distribution pattern, but does it have a catalyst to go down? Not really yet. So support area here will potentially, I think, be held. And the only other way to play it is wait for a break of these highs here. So maybe waiting for a break of 61. which would be a decent price still, because it's 66 is all the way up there. So if you can wait for a break of 61, that's one way to play it. Other way to play it is just buy at the lows, because I do wonder whether oil is likely to break through, and I just don't think it is. But you would, I think, want to give yourself some room. The longer it stays in this area, the better, because obviously eventually price will meet the trend line. And if price was to meet the trend line, and this trend line is going to meet this horizontal level in around about 2 weeks' time. So if there was just some toing and froing for a couple of weeks, the time correlation and price correlation would be, I think, pretty strong at this level. So that might be something to consider as well. At this stage, I don't think there's anything to trade with oil. Okay, well, that will be that is the wrap. I think that is us wrapping up.
I'll just quickly go through my week and see if there's anything left that we can trade, and I think there is actually.
Okay,
there are a couple, I think. So I'll just very, very briefly go through that. Gyro, I think you asked me yesterday about how I go about setting up the week. Did you? Was that you that asked me that question? And I wanted to go through that. I won't do it now because we're out of time, but more than happy to do it probably on Monday. Let's go with Monday because, hey, it's the start of the week. So let's do that. I'll make that a point of doing that first up, unless there's something to trade. Okay. Righto, but here's what I saw. What I saw from the outset was pound Kiwi. That was the first thing I saw, and it was based on a key reversal bar, followed, or not a key reversal bar, sorry, an inside bar. There was no key reversal bar on the daily chart. Was there on the weekly? Yes, there was. There's a key reversal bar on the weekly. And if you guys don't know what a key reversal bar is yet, then please ask me sometime, because it's very important that you know that. And when you get a little inside bar, as we did on the daily, it was time to go. Now, as I said at the time, it was a little bit risky because we hadn't had the lower high. And if we wait for the lower high, then we'll probably get a better entry. Well, we did get a lower high based on the double top, but it didn't set up for a trade. Whereas on the daily chart, we did get set up. There was no trade there from my point of view. So we'll wait on that to hit that level, the confluence area here in about the 194.25 or something like that, I think it is. When we hit that level, I'm out of the short and I'm going to look to scale back into the long, whose stop loss is at entry here, down around the 192.50 mark, something like that. The other one I saw was Aussie Kiwi. And my comment at the time was Aussie Kiwi key reversal bar on the weekly chart right there, and worthy of a look if we got a lower high. Now you can see this is a complete inside bar at the moment. So on Monday morning, if this is still the case, then this becomes a short using this bar here, using the current week bar. So I'll be looking to trade underneath that. Where are these lines coming from? So currently we've got a key reversal bar and an inside bar forming. Is there a trend? That's the monthly chart. That's the hard part. There's no trend. So this normally goes with a primary trend. Dollar Swissy also had a key reversal bar, and we were looking for that one to go short. And my comment was on Sunday, too late. We have to wait now because the neckline had been broken. Dominator, you could have traded that as a dominator trade. But my counsel was to wait for a lower high, preferably up here. Yes, would have been great. But look at that. Delivered it perfectly on the daily pivot. I'm not in it. Timing again, it really does start to wear you down when you're not in front of the charts at the right time. But if you were, and you had that analysis on board, that's just fruit for the sideboard. Really, really, really good. I'm not in, sadly. And, this was based on, go back to Sunday, we noticed that we had 3 monthly bars in a row that were extremely bullish. And my comment was, go back in the charts and see how many times that's the case. But look at the weekly chart more over, and there were 7 weekly bars, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that had gone long. We'd reached the resistance level on the monthly chart through here, and it was time for a rest, and the market delivered in spades. So, I'm kicking myself a little bit that I didn't get that one. The others, pound Kiwi I've spoken about, Aussie Kiwi I've spoken about, dollar Swissy I've spoken about. Aussie Swissy came into the frame a little bit later in the week, and I was looking for, believe it or not, a higher low based on the range that we were in. So a lot was dependent on what the RBA did, and the RBA forced, well, that's not true. The reaction to the RBA has put the market down beyond the low of this range. You can see the range in here. So we've broken below the range. Interestingly, we're trying to get back into that range. Unsuccessful at the moment. And if that bar there was white-bodied, you could probably even take a little bit of a speculator underneath it, take your first profit there and see if it works out. But I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a higher low. Break the daily pivot, come back and retest it, give me the higher low, I'd trade it back up to here. That'd be Aussie Swissy. That's what I was looking for when the week started. And I think the real one that I haven't been able to trade is one, Ash, I'd like you to counsel me on. I think I need psychological intervention here.
Okay.
Because this was very clear to me, as was Aussie Kiwi. I think Aussie dollar, maybe. Aussie dollar. Yeah, I put those yellow lines in. This was really the trade of the week, I think, for me.
Dollar CAD.
Dollar CAD, yeah. And on Sunday, my analysis was pretty clear. And I said, we're going to bounce off this trend line as we did last week. I'm looking for price to come down to this yellow line, form the inverted head and shoulders. And I said, I don't do it. I don't trade limit entry orders. But if I was a limit entry order trader, that's where I'd put my entry on dollar CAD. And I'm still keen. I think if I get the right bar here, that would have to be bearish and maybe.
Sorry, mate, what was the price? What was the price you were going to do? You'd say the limit order?
125.07.
Right,
which is here, open close here.
Gotcha. 125.07.
So I need counselling because I need to be able to talk myself into trading price levels rather than setups. I mean, I'm more than happy to trade setups. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is something I can actually add to my repertoire of trades.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it is just do it over time. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then forget it. I was right in the first place. Not to do it. Simple as that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I was looking at the the dollar CAD. I wouldn't have got anywhere near as the same quality price that you were looking at there.
Interesting. I would have thought that'd been right up your alley.
No, do you know where I would have put my limit order is at 125.39. So if you go to your hourly.
Yep.
I would have gone on to, you see that daily pivot touch
here.
That would have been my limit order there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that certainly would have worked.
Yeah.
No question there. Look at that bar. I mean, that's just my bar, isn't it?
Oh, it is a great bar
with the low test bar.
Yeah. And the 4 hourly actually, it's even clearer on the 4 hourly.
All I've got to do is awake at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
Nice trade that would have been.
that was the final one. But I'm going to leave you with these two. Well, that's one. I think that's still on if we get a break and retest, and we've got not that yet. You know why I'm so confident? Because of this trade line. It's absolutely textbook beautiful.
Yes, it is. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, great touches there.
So I'm expecting that this will break out. No idea how far it will go, and I'm not a dollar fan, of course. You were talking about oil earlier. If oil comes off, then the CAD will come with it, etc., etc. But we'll leave that for now. The two that I've been stalking, absolutely stalking, is Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi more than Euro Aussie, primarily because it's broken out of this big reversal pattern. Give us another one. If it's going to reverse here, it's going to take out this high. But I need to pull back here to be able to take that on. And it's dangerous to get in the market here. Euro Aussie has already broken that level. But as I've said all week, we are still inside this level here, or this, if you put it on the weekly chart, we're still inside this bar. Nothing has happened. And to me, that's saying lots. It's saying there's a lot of energy being stored up here. And if this breaks, it's going to break really hard. And I want to be part of that. So I'm still bullish Euro Aussie for whatever reason. Fundamentally, I can't justify it, but there you are. I think all I would need to see today to trade this tomorrow is a bearish bar here. Don't really care how big it is. But the smaller the better, really. If it's decisive and bearish, I'll be into that for sure. But it may happen earlier than that. And it may be the 4-hour chart. You'd like to think it's going to come back here before we go, but it may not happen. Starting to form a case for buyers to jump in here right now, actually, with 37 minutes to go in that bar. I won't be part of that. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just say, Ash, I prefer black bars going long rather than I won't trade white bars going long.
Yeah, well, I'm with you as well. I think the black bars are a much more interesting price point.
Much more interesting, absolutely. But there's going to be people jumping on this. If that candle is as it is now in 37 minutes time, there'll be buyers hit that for sure. But they may only get to that level. But if it's the current size of that bar, it's going to be 1-to-1 before you get there. So why not? I can't say I'm not interested because it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So well, look, I think analysis was pretty cool, mate. Just had to jump on them all.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we could just go ahead and take every trade. It's difficult, isn't it? Because the pound dollar that I was looking at earlier on has turned out to be a bit of a cracker. I think Lewis is on board, which is great. It's turned out to be a bit of a cracker, but it's sometimes. I mean, you weren't up at that time, but while I was looking at it, I think we looked at it, in with plenty of room. But what I didn't do was continue to look at it as we did other things in the show, because the hourly bar, the last hourly bar, was probably a message enough to say we could have gone short, but we were doing the quiz, so I missed it. But that's one of those things.
I mean, the age-old story.
Well, part of the reason that we trade for you guys and with you guys is to bring you ideas, and then you can do with them what you will. And it's just going to be the case that we just can't take everything because we're doing this as well as trying to trade. Now, I don't like.
And in many ways, Ash and I have discussed this over the years. It's somewhat dangerous for us to be actually breaking our concentration to actually say trade this on small time frames anyway. So it's kind of a bit of a quandary that you get yourself into. And if you pick it wrong on the 30-minute chart, you go, oh yeah, what a dickhead! He can't trade and all the rest of it. So
yeah.
Oftentimes, it's better just to keep your powder dry. But we'll always tell you if if we see that there's a possibility of making money there, there's no question. And the quiz, by the way, the quiz is a very good way of you guys actually having a little bit of a refresher and going, well, actually, do I need to know that? And the answer, hopefully, most often is going to be, well, it's not a bad idea if you do.
Yeah, very important to know the songs that you were singing a week.
That's what I mean.
And which comic book hero was the most valuable?
There might be a couple in there that don't mean right.
But you're right, though, because to know the RBA statement, stuff like that, we should really know that stuff. If we're Forex,
yeah, you should be able to go. Yep, know that.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. So we'll do the same next week. Let's wrap it up for the week, though, mates, and thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Angel. As always, you've been exemplary, brilliant work. Thank you to you, mate. Enjoyed it this week, and your company as always. And I'll see you. I'll see you on the weekend, probably on the Sunday.
I've advised Julian that he needs to book an appointment with a psychiatrist on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Trader Cafe on Sunday.
Oh, brilliant! What time's that on?
Oh, I don't know. 4:45 Singapore, I think.
Okay, I'm going to try and get in and watch that, mate.
Yeah, 4:45.
4:45 p.m. Singapore. So that would be 9:45 a.m. my time. Fantastic. All right, brilliant. Looking forward to it.
I'm not. Sew my lips together.
Okay.
All right, have a great weekend, mate, and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's been wonderful to have you and your entertainment throughout the week. Ash, has been wonderful. We'll catch up with you guys next week when it's Monday.